South Africa has once again been shaken to its foundations. This time by a scandal in which President Sir Ramaphosa himself has been accused of a brazen theft. The same man who came to office on a plank of fighting corruption, cleansing government, and re-establishing the public's trust in government now has his name dragged through the gutter as allegations of theft and economic mismanagement grow against him. What was hushed in corridors of power has now ballooned into a national crisis which can potentially destabilize the nation's already fragile political balance. There have been allegations that Ramaphosa used government funds improperly and could personally gain from suspect financial transactions. Although official charges have not yet been made, the enormity of the accusations has sparked outrage, disbelief, and demands for instant accountability. To most South Africans, the mere idea that their president is implicated in stealing comes across as a personal affront, particularly following decades of promises to guide the nation away from corruption scandals of the past. To the common people, the allegations are particularly painful. Most still remember Ramaphosa's vigorous orations regarding renewal, openness, and sound administration upon assuming office from Jacob Zuma, a president whose rule was characterized by state seizure and corruption of legendary proportions. Ramaphosa's stewardship was welcomed as a new era, an opportunity to remake a nation bruised by scandal and misrule. His rise to office filled people with hope in towns and cities all over the nation, from rural towns to cities where they thought that maybe this time things would go differently. But now South Africans are struggling to deal with the painful realization that their president could be just as bad as his predecessors. Social media exploded within hours of the news, emerging with terms like #Ramaphosa accused, #stolen dreams, and #another betrayal trending on several platforms. Twitter, Facebook and TikTok became battlefields for outrage and devastation as people ranted about their anger, disappointment and fatigue. We trusted him. We thought he was different. But if this is true, then South Africa has no hope left, posted one devastated citizen on Twitter. Another user commented that the country had again been played for fools. The tearful reactions showed a nation frayed thin from decades of political scandals and failed promises. The controversy has already opened up a quick opposition gap which the opposition parties did not take time to exploit. The Democratic Alliance, DA, Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, and other minor opposition parties all released quick statements calling for a full independent probe into the president's actions. EFF leader Julius Malema, who has a reputation for a vitriolic tongue, went a step further and demanded Ramaphosa's instant resignation. "You can talk about waging war against corruption if your own hands are dirty," Malema thundered during a press conference. His words ringing far and wide through media circles. The DA's John Stein once seconded, maintaining that Parliament cannot go about its business as usual when the President is being accused of so grave a matter. "This is an issue of national integrity," he declared sternly. "Parliament needs to indicate to the South Africans that nobody, no matter how high his office, is above questioning or accountability." Even in his own party, the African National Congress ANC, cracks of discontent are starting to appear. Sources have intimated significant divisions in the party, with affection gaining momentum to urge Ramaphosa to resign to avoid further embarrassment for the ANC. Some veteran members of the party are concerned that defending him might cost the ANC dearly in future elections when public faith is low as it has ever been. In Parliament, the situation has been nothing less than explosive. Sessions have been marked by hot tempers, with opposition benches demanding explanations and ANC members scrambling to defend their beleaguered leader. Demands for a parliamentary inquiry have mounted, and there is rampant speculation that motions of no confidence might be tabled in the weeks ahead. Political experts advise that this is likely to be one of the largest crises during Ramaphosa's presidency and potentially the most dire political test in his career. "Not about a charge of theft, about credibility," commented one political commentator on a leading news show. If South Africans lose trust in Ramaphosa, the ANC stands to lose what little it retains with the public. The ANC has weathered scandals previously, but this one might be different. It attacks at the core of Ramaphosa's brand, integrity. Ramaphosa, for his part, has denied the charges in the strongest terms. In a diplomatic statement issued by the presidency, he said the charges were baseless, politically driven and part of a coordinated effort to destabilize the government. Ramaphosa asserted that he has always acted with honesty and integrity, and he added, "I have nothing to hide. I welcome any legitimate investigation into these allegations, as I am confident that the truth will vindicate me." But others are not convinced. Others say that denial alone is not sufficient, particularly in light of South Africa's history of leaders who have raised such arguments before and only later been found to be guilty of doing something wrong. They cite the Zuma era as an example of how trust is lost if leaders avoid accountability even for a little while. South Africans are fatigued from decades of corruption scandals that involve billions of pilfered state money. From the period of state capture to numerous municipal-level scandals, citizens had pinned their hopes on Ramaphosa as the leader who would return hope. Now his name being associated with theft, this is wearing thin. Some citizens are already wondering whether the scandal might drive voters to minor opposition parties or even fuel mass protests like those in the anti-apartheid era. Civil society groups and unions have already started organizing, demanding marches and protests for clear answers. There are whispers of a potential national shutdown if the government does not offer clear explanations in the near future. Religious leaders have also joined in demanding transparency and accountability while speaking about the moral rot that is engulfing the future of the country. The future is bleak for Ramaphosa. If these charges catch hold and evidence is found, his presidency will collapse in spectacular fashion. Already reeling from economic woes, a growing jobs crisis and pervasive disillusionment, South Africa cannot weather another leadership shake-up. The timing of the scandal could not be worse. As the nation battles sluggish economic growth, runaway inflation, and rising social unrest about failures in service delivery, if the allegations were found to be true, Ramaphosa not only risked political ruin, but could also face criminal prosecution. Conversely, even if he was vindicated, the scandal might leave a blemish on his reputation that would not be erased so easily. Questions regarding his leadership would hang over him, and his critics would be sure to seize on the incident as proof of his perceived weakness or susceptibility. The implications for wider South African politics are significant. A destabilized ANC may give renewed confidence to opposition parties leading up to key elections.